I know what I want the title of the podcast to be, which is Where Are All the Good Scrum Masters?
Where have all the Scrum Masters gone?
Oh, I guess I should do an intro. Welcome back to Arguing Agile. Where have all the good Scrum Masters gone?
On the unemployment line.
Why are they on the unemployment line? Are the good Scrum Masters on the unemployment line? Is that what they really are? Let's dig into this for a second. I want to know what makes a good Scrum Master. I want to know if what I'm seeing on TikTok and YouTube is telling me that I can be a Scrum Master and all my dreams will come true and make six figures and I don't need any experience. I can just walk. I want to know if all that stuff is true.
Yeah, there's quite a few Scrum Masters in the unemployment line that are good, because we started with, where have all the good Scrum Masters gone? But there's also quite a few there that are perhaps, how can I put this kindly, not so good?
Not good, yeah.
Right. And that's because they took their lead from social media sites like TikTok, whatever you have. They go to these things and they consume stuff that they see there in all earnestness. Is that a word? Anyway, they consume it seriously, right? They take it seriously.
Ayo is back on the podcast today to talk about Scrum Master things.
He finally invited me back.
It's always more than meets the eye, right? So this goes deeper than just that superficial slice.
Let's dig into the first question.
Okay.
I saw a lot of videos today. I surfed a lot of TikTok today. Do you surf TikTok? I feel you can't surf it if it's forcibly being
served
to you.
Yeah.
I've been served a lot of bad TikTok today that tells me that I can be a successful Scrum Master and make six figures. The 2-day certification that cost me a couple $100 and
$299
and no experience. So what's your hot take on that? And please don't make me defend this.
Well, it is, you get what you get. I mean, you go to a restaurant like that, you get served things at you, right? Like, you need a different restaurant. TikTok has no filters. Like, you can just put up whatever you like there. Nobody's validating it. Nobody's challenging it.
Just like real life.
Just like real life. So you got these people saying,
thing,
hey, listen, buy my certification class at $299 and you'll get a job tomorrow. Not tomorrow, because it's 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days from now, you'll get a job that will pay you $150,000 a year. Enticing for those that want to enter the field. Oh, by the way, don't worry if you have no experience. You don't need it. I'll teach you everything you need to know. And then you'll have that certification to brandish in front of recruiters, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of that bad Scrum information.
I was going to say bad advice.
Bad advice.
Bad career advice.
Definitely bad advice.
Bad life coaching.
Be careful where you shop, I guess.
Agile coach.
So I have my two follow-up questions. Why are there so many? I don't know if you really answered any of my questions, but
I did.
Why are there so many of them? Number one, why are there so many of them? And number two, if they're all like paddling wares, are there really that many people buying that to prop up a whole industry like this?
Why are there so many?
I think there are. I think there are a lot, because I do know of a lot of people who are doing it. So because ever since the COVID and everything, people want to do something different. People want to make more money and do less. So it all depends on how they're peddling it. Because most people are peddling it as, hey, just like you said, you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to know nothing. I would teach you everything you need to know. And you're going to make this amazing money. So who would not buy that? If you were not where you are now, and someone says, I'm going to guarantee you're going to get a job paying you $110 to $150, knowing nothing but what I just taught you, no degrees, because before, in order to get a job making $80,000, you have to get a master's. Now you don't even need a community college AS or AA degree. I'll teach you in 2 days for $300. Actually, $299.99. A penny less.
I don't know where all these certifications are. My certification was way more expensive than $299.
Yes,
someone's going to do that for you. What's there to lose but $299, right? Hey, if you lose $299 and you get a job, fine. If you lose $299, you don't get a job, that's also fine, right? So
you're making a very compelling case. I'm almost bought into this.
He's going to buy his credit card next.
That's right.
You watch. It's the old promise, though, right? It's like anything. You used to have these years ago too. Buy my course, right? Real estate or, investments, right? Buy my course and you'll be a millionaire in 2 months, 3 months.
Oh yeah.
Buy my course, only $1,500.
Network marketing.
Same thing. It's like
network marketing, right? That's the network marketing scheme.
Yeah, MLM.
Does running burn carbs? No, it doesn't burn carbs. Is this the same thing as that dude on YouTube being like, running doesn't burn carbs? I was like, I think running burns everything. I think it just if you just keep running like Forrest Gump, I think you'll lose weight.
Definitely will.
I don't know. I think it does work, man. Like I'm going to push back against that. Well, thanks for coming to the podcast. We figured it out. Running burns calories.
If 299 gave you carte blanche to go into an organization and practice Scrum Mastery, you're in for a rude awakening when you do get that job, if you get that job, right? You're not going to be able to successfully do anything because you've just had, 2 days of dubious quality stuff thrown at you. And then you were given this piece of paper that practically is worth nothing. Well, it's worth $2.99 to you, I guess, because that's what you shelled out for it. I doubt if there's a good ROI on it, to be honest.
If my team were to hire a Scrum Master, right, and there was like, Brian, congratulations, you're getting a Scrum Master. The things that I would be looking for, and the things that forget Brian, the product manager, Brian, the leader in an organization, right, the business leader. I'm looking for someone to come in who has skill and experience, understanding how to how to vertically slice things and break up large things into small things. I could say breaking, large stories into whatever, but let's just call it vertical slicing for now. Break large things into small things. Oh, right? They understand that a little bit. They understand how to influence management. They understand the basics of change management, organizational change management, maybe org design. Maybe they've dipped their toes in org design, read a couple books or something like that. At least can talk about org design. They understand what the cost of delay is and why it's important. They understand ROI at a basic, not even an MBA level, at a basic high level. They understand ROI. They understand the basics of budgeting, right? Because if you're going to turn the Scrum Master, here's where I'm going with these skills. If you're going to turn the Scrum Master into a junior PM and you're going to strip away all of the leadership core of the role, all the servant leadership, you're going to strip all that out because you don't trust the teams with that. These are the things I need out of someone at the team level. I need someone that knows all this stuff, because my developers, they might not know this stuff. They might not have time to break out and learn these skills. It'd be good for them in their career if they do, but it'd be better if I have somebody who's now can focus on one of these things at a time and get better at it and make the whole team better at it and then move on. I don't think there's anything I listed that you get out of the cert, out of the 2-day class. Maybe vertical slicing. Maybe they talk about that, and I think they talk about that in the base level CSM or I don't know what they do in PSM.
Yeah, I mean, certainly that's true. They're not covering all of those things in a 2-day class because 2 days is just not long enough to do all that.
It's not that they're not covering they're not introducing any of these concepts.
They can't. There's no space. There's no time, right? In a 2-day class, you're just focusing on the basics of Scrum. That's all you're doing, really. So if you're hiring a Scrum Master and you want those things that you highlighted out of them, are you giving them the responsibility and, more importantly, the authority, right, to execute on those things? Or are you just simply saying, you're a junior PM, you go do all of these things, and whatever you come back with doesn't really matter to us because we know what we want you to do, right? You're just essentially there to check boxes. As long as you say yes to what we say you should be doing, you're a great Scrum Master.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure people have seen that before, where you go into an organization and say, how about this? And they go, that won't work here. Yeah. This is what you need to do. This is how we work.
Let's just take my whole list of things. If you're not doing any of those things, what are you doing?
You're just being a yes person, right?
Yep.
That's what you're doing.
Definitely.
And the minute you kind of slightly even argue against that, you're rebelling. So and they don't want you.
What is your job akin to like an executive assistant for the team then at that point? You schedule the meetings when they tell you to schedule meetings. You track down a person when they tell you to track down a person. Put their stuff on the screen when they need something put on the screen.
That's exactly what this is. This is an admin role, effectively.
That title you mentioned, that's exactly what a lot of companies have dumbed down a Scrum Master to be, an executive assistant. And that's why our last topic of what does a Scrum Master do, that's pretty much what people look at it as. And when they look at that, they're like, you know what, I can have the team do it, so why do I need a Scrum Master? So when people look at a Scrum Master as just an executive assistant, that okay, you just set meetings when we need it, you just make sure that the team has some stuff, we tell you to go, okay, I need this, I need a bottle of water, so go to the store and get us some water. We can't get that database. Yeah, you go talk to that database guy. So that's pretty much what a lot of people has dumbed down Scrum Masters to. So when someone who's thinking money comes and look at it, oh yeah, we just got an executive assistant. Why do we need that? Why don't we just have the product owner or some guy in the team do it? So just eliminate that role.
Yeah, I've actually had management ask me why we need a Scrum Master. What do they do outside of the 15 minutes per day?
Well, here we go. Like let's
question.
let's get into this one, because this is the you just hit the title of the podcast. You just used the title of the movie in the movie. Like, why do we need a Scrum Master? What do they do outside of the 15 minutes? Like, we had a whole podcast. In fact, our last podcast, this was the whole point of the podcast. But if I'm leadership and I'm going to challenge, like, why can't the team do that? Like, what's your like, here I am on the side of the table I said I didn't want to be on. Here I am. I'm management. I don't understand why we have all these Scrum Masters, organizationally speaking. Like, you're my enterprise coach. Like, all these Scrum Masters, maybe we've organizationally aligned them all to you for some reason, because that's the way budgeting works.
That's right.
And you got to meet me where I am and only try to influence. Yeah, right. Okay. You've kind of gone along with it, hoping that I would just wake up one day and I would fall in love with you, and then we live happily ever after, or whatever. And then that day never came.
So it's funny because that actually happens in real life way too often. So I usually use a metaphor with them. Right? So you've got a bunch of people. If you have a bunch of teams, if you have one team, you have one team. Basically, the team is rowing a boat, right? So you've got all these team members, and they're busy rowing a boat. Everybody is rowing in different directions. They're rowing. Rowing is what they do. Scrum Master is there to make sure that they can sound a drumbeat that makes sure everyone's rowing in cadence with one another, so you move somewhere. Otherwise, you're gonna move, but not somewhere.
We're going forward.
You're just gonna keep going around in circles, or right. And so, is there value in somebody standing at the back of the boat, encouraging people to do things in a synchronized manner? If there is, then you need a Scrum Master. And if you have multiple teams, and you have all these people rowing these boats everywhere, they're gonna get in each other's way. It's not gonna move toward a destination anytime soon. So when I use that kind of an analogy, it tends to be a little more effective, right? They kind of understand that. The other thing I tell them is, okay, so let's just run one of the teams for a sprint or half a sprint without a Scrum Master and see how it goes. If they're vested enough, they'd be interested in finding out, exactly how that's going, and they'll soon find out that it doesn't go so well.
Again, I'm still on the executive side of the table over here, and like, you still haven't given me a compelling reason, because I speak numbers, and I went to a fancy MBA school, and I went to Stanford or whatever, so I'm smart.
Harvard, of
course.
Yeah.
Oxford.
Yeah. I may have crashed a bank or two, but actually, here's the actual thing I've heard before from actual people with budgets. Of why would I spend X amount of dollars on a Scrum Master when I could spend those same dollars and get another developer on my team and go faster? Maybe I came up to my executive path through development teams. So that is why I think that way. So you're not going to change the way I think. What is the counter to this now?
I'm just going to simply illustrate adding one more rower to the boat isn't really going to help you. You could do that. Instead of a Scrum Master. Now the boat's going around faster, but still in circles.
Is it? I think one more rower would help us crash faster into the rocks.
That is true. That is true. If that's what you're doing, I will say, see you later.
So that's the unfortunate thing, that people don't see the value of something until it's no longer there. So the developers know exactly what to do, right? They know how to code. They know how to.
Do they? I much like the executive assistant, like they're sitting when we all used to work in offices, like I'm sitting in my chair for 8 hours a day. That doesn't guarantee a single thing.
Okay.
That is true of executives also, though, right?
That is, I would say that's double, triple, quadruple true.
Those chairs are expensive.
For some
So
executives.
fine, let's just get rid of the whole company then.
Yeah, those leather chairs are expensive.
Everybody go home.
And the corner offices.
Well, okay, like I'm Mr. Executive. And boy, I'm the bad guy of this podcast. I kind of like it. It's like I'm Mr. Executive of Brian Ohm Software Development Company. My name is on the marquee. That means I know what I'm talking about. That means I know what I'm talking about. Okay. That's how it works. Did you know that? That's how I know. Because my name
Peter Norton did that.
I wrote my name on a wall, and I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'm dipping into Influence by Robert Cialdini right quick. Like, if I say my name over and over again, and I associate it with that, I know what I'm doing.
It will stick.
It sticks.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's a great topic, and I want to stay on it. You did highlight a concept that I wanted to get to, which is you're telling me I need to hire a Scrum Master. I'm telling you, I think more developers would be better, because then we can move faster. So we've countered with move faster to where,
effectiveness.
Yeah, move faster to where. I go back to our podcast on Taylorism.
Yes.
Oh boy.
All the way back.
I'm reaching now. Also, where's Alfonso at? Where's he been at? He dropped off the earth?
He did. I don't know.
Come back, Alfonso.
I heard from him a week or two ago. I got one of his apps.
Oh yeah?
The meeting expense app.
Oh, man.
It's fantastic. I use it all the time.
Oh, you're really?
I'll show it to you. Yeah.
Man, we
it's
miss
great.
you, Alfonso. You got to come back.
Yeah, please do.
When Alphonse was here and we talked about Taylorism, we talked about there's a piece of our Taylorism podcast talking about bricklaying. And what they found was like the person who's laying the bricks could be a lot more productive if you just added an assistant. They carry the wheelbarrow around, they hand the bricks up the ladder or whatever, they make sure the mortar is refreshed when it runs low or whatever. They don't need anywhere near the amount of skill that the bricklayer needs. And anyway, it was an example in
the book,
Principles of Scientific Management. I think they either doubled or tripled the bricklayer productivity, where they could build, higher walls, more distance, faster in the same period of time when you added an assistant to help deal with these tasks that didn't require a certain level of expertise. And it wasn't until Taylor got in that the bricklayer was doing everything themselves. They come down a ladder, grab a brick, go back up the ladder, and it was kind of when you talk about it afterwards, it's like, well, that's kind of silly.
Well, it's the classic elimination of waste that we talk about in the lean framework, right? Mm-hmm. That's what that was, but we didn't know it as that at the time when that was proposed years and years ago in the Principles of Scientific Management book. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. If you're eliminating waste, then you're going to get better throughput.
Okay, so I'm back to being the combative executive. I went to Stanford.
A role that fits you well.
I'm very smart. I went to Stanford. Look, I have my tie.
You get your tie. There you go.
I hear what you're saying, like you're using this bricklayer example to make an analogy of, you do this for the development teams. You add somebody. I'm trying to meet you where you are. I'm trying to come around, but I can't hire the Scrum Master position because, first of all, Scrum Master sounds ridiculous. I'm not going to title them Scrum Master. I'll title them something else. Right?
Agility.
You see where I'm going with this. And second, I don't know a way to measure somebody who sits on a development team but doesn't actually actively do development work. So how am I going to measure this person? First of all, you have to convince me, management, that bringing this person on will increase the effectiveness of my team. And in order to convince me of that, you have to show me before and after metrics. Mm-hmm. So let's say we agree to bring a Scrum Master on, 6-month contract to hire some plan like that. Dipping my toes in the water, I'm taking a chance. What are you laying down for me, the executive, where you can prove that, yes, we brought this person on, it was a good deal, they're making an impact, here is how I show you?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that's something that I think vexes a whole bunch of people out there that are asked that. Show me that it works before I spend the money. I think if you're going to do that, you really do need to gather some metrics before, which is, let's look at how much wait time there is in the team for dependencies, issues, impediments, risks, etc. What are they doing? So just ask the teams, write down those things when they occur, when they get resolved by the team themselves or magically, and quantify those, right? And so numbers make a big difference. So write those down and then hire a Scrum Master, but treat that as an experiment, if you will. 2 to 3 sprints, maybe.
Would you quantify them just as best as you could? Because I'm taking some notes here because again, I'm an executive, so I'm writing all these down. They're going in your.
You should be putting on your iPad.
Yeah, they're gonna be on your PIP.
On your PIP, my PDP.
We're going to take note of all the wait time and the dependencies and how many of them there are and generally how long they take. We're going to track risks and stuff like that and what we do with them and whether they blow back up in our face. We're going to look to quantify all of these things together somehow. I, the executive, would prefer that these things get quantified in terms of actual real money, but I guess proxy metrics are okay too if we can't tie them to money.
Proxy metrics can almost always be tied to money. Almost always. The only ones that can't be are those improvements that the team does, like psychological safety and getting, that trust built. It's hard to quantify that. But for the most part, you can say, if there's a delay of X number of hours for something to get resolved, you can quantify that, right? You absolutely can. So do that, and then treat this as an experiment with management. Hopefully leadership would understand, but management. Treat it as an experiment. Run with a Scrum Master for a few sprints, tracking the exact same type of metrics again, and then do a side-by-side, before and after. Mm-hmm. Preferably on the same graph.
So let's take an example of the impediment resolution, right?
Yeah.
So developer has work to do. He has to go build this form, right? And then he's finding out, okay, in about 2 or 3 days, I'm gonna need some data from the from the database team. Now, would you want him to stop the work and go chase the database team to get that data, or let him keep coding what he's coding to build that form, and let the Scrum Master go chase down the database team, get the access, get whatever he needs, get that data, so that when that time gets there for him to implement that data, he's doing that. So kind of like a division of labor type stuff.
Well, first of all,
I always worry when he has that soft voice.
I'm trying to play the angry executive, but I'm also like, I live in the world of product management. Like, I am not going to pick up anything with my team that delay is built into the system. I'm gonna destroy any system that has delay built into it.
An organization that is questioning the value of a Scrum Master is unlikely to have effective POs. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, right. Well,
right?
They may have effective POs with ineffective teams, so they may have frustrated. I've seen organizations where the POs do know, the POs are talking to customers, they are in front of customers, they do know the why, and they do know the what, but their teams are incapable of slicing work into vertical slices, delivering anything that takes less than 3 months or whatever to get it. I've seen that, you know.
It's prevalent, right? This is another reason why you need a Scrum Master who can come in and say, listen, we need to slice the work appropriately. We need to make sure we don't overcommit, things like that. The teams aren't going to do that. You ask a developer and stroke their ego and say, you can do this, surely. You could have this knocked down in a few hours. And then they struggle on it for a few days. But that's how, those people subvert, the team, right? They will just go in and say, you can do this, surely.
Well,
right?
You can do it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question. And Ayo, maybe this is your question too. If you're to come into an organization and you're new to the organization as a Scrum Master, and you come in, like they hire you in. Congratulations, Ayo, by the way, you're hired.
Oh, thank you.
We can't pay you in money, but we can pay you in drinks.
Which you bring.
Yeah, you have to bring the drinks. I'm a manager. Do you get it now? Anyway.
Sorry.
Also, we're going to need you to work on the weekend.
Yeah.
And you come in and say, well, look, we've gone on a limb and we've decided we want to hire you to be our first Scrum Master in the organization. We haven't had Scrum Masters before. We're taking a chance, 6 months, and with the option, if we think that the position is valuable, we'll hire you on permanent after that, and it'll be a permanent position, and that we have everything's. I'm assuming we're not playing any games in this.
Yeah, no politics.
Yeah, no politics, no games in this. But anyway, we're going to avoid all that.
He comes in at 8 and leaves at 6. What the hell's wrong with him?
That's right. What is wrong with that guy? Oh, boy, do you remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. You have metrics that I'm measuring against. I'm like, okay, Ayo, welcome to the organization. It's your first day. We've been tracking our cycle time, lead time. Let's start with there. We're tracking our cycle time, lead time, and through the tracking of our cycle time, lead time, we have the wait times. So we can put a cost of delay to the wait times because we know the time from when our team picks it up and does the first set of requirements. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say requirements because we're that kind of organization now.
Yeah.
Before the dev team actually picks it up and starts working on it, and then maybe the dev team in our organization hands off to some other team to deploy stuff to it. So there's a cost of delay at the beginning and there's a cost of delay at the end. Like, we're tracking all that. Okay, we know that cost of delay is bad, and we're also tracking dependencies, and we're tracking the work items, how many of them and how long the delay is. When something is dependent on another team, it has to go off and get worked and then come back to us, and then we can do it. And we're tracking risks and things that could be, we're tracking technical debt. Maybe actually with our metrics, we're actually quite advanced with our metrics. We just don't know what to do because we're so busy. Developers are so busy during the day. Welcome to my interview. As a Scrum Master, you have 6 months basically to prove that you can knock these numbers down as a Scrum Master. Okay? Let's also assume you're working in this organization, you're working directly for the CEO. So climbing the ladder of management and getting the right people's ear is not an issue. I understand we're taking a huge assumption here.
I was going to say,
right? You're
blessed.
But let's pretend that's the role. You have carte blanche. That's right. I said carte blanche. There may be more French words in this podcast. You can
Sacre bleu.
You can basically recommend anything. Like you work directly for the CEO. So what's your? I was going to say 30, 60, 90 plan, but it could be longer than that. It could be what's your tiered step plan here to let you know that you're the person I want to hire. Part of the grief that surrounds this topic online is people want to hire a life coach. And a life coach is not really going to make impactful organizational change. They're just going to make me feel good about like, oh, we're meeting you where you are. And the way you are right now, Ayo, is great. You don't need to change anything. That's not true.
Thank you for gracing my couch for an hour. I'll see you next month.
I'm taking a chance. This is a way this person thinks about it. I'm taking a chance on, I could be hiring another developer, and I think that that's the right thing to do, but I'm taking a chance on this person that supposedly could accelerate my business. You see the disdain that I said in the okay.
Of course.
So how are you going to prove this? How are you going to prove this? I'm tracking these problems, so I'm committed. What are you going to do in the organization to try to improve all of the metrics I'm tracking, which is the wait time, the dependencies, the risks, the cost of delay?
Let's just kind of go one or two steps at a time on this one, maybe. Certainly. Right? So what's the first thing you would do to a prompt like that, right? Yeah. What's the first thing you would do? Because you've been told what metrics they're already measuring.
So they have the metrics.
They have the metrics, and they're looking for you to improve.
Maybe I'm not measuring any of this stuff.
Maybe not.
The reality that I've been in is they don't even know what cycle time, lead time means.
They read it somewhere. Maybe, right? Maybe. Oh, maybe they saw a TikTok video. I don't know. But first thing I would do is to say, okay, you're measuring all these things. Let me look at the things you're measuring as variables. Make sure they're the right things you're measuring. Whether I agree or not agree, I will still baseline all of that stuff, right? That's the first thing I would do is put a date against what you're measuring and the values and baseline it. And then go about my business as a Scrum Master. And come back to it periodically. Initially, maybe every sprint or 2 sprints, come back and look at that and add to that graph. Like, here's your baseline. How are you doing? How are you tracking against that, right? So the baseline is I was going to say a line in the sand, a line on a graph. If you're improving the team, right? It's a trend. Yeah. So if you're improving the team, you want to see where your data points are against that, right? And you map that over a few sprints, and I guarantee you, if you're a Scrum Master worth your salt, you're going to see a deviation from that trend line towards the better. You're going to see that because you're doing your job. And so periodically, you would get in front of that manager and say, here is how we're tracking today. And then you're going to say, extrapolate this 6 months out. Boom. There you go.
We talked about this actually last night at the networking event we were at. There's an element of self-promotion here that a lot of people are uncomfortable with. Before, you put times and dates of things that had dependencies. Now, there's almost no dependencies in any of the backlog items because we vet them out at the refinements and make sure that things that have dependencies either get moved off until the dependencies are knocked out and kicked down in the backlog, or we break them up and hand them to the teams that are responsible, whatever. Or maybe the better thing is we've done a little responsive organizational design here and there, a little sprinkling around.
In the first 6 months, you'd be really doing well to do that.
I mean, it depends. It depends how much they're hurting. I've gone into organization. I've gone in as product, but product wearing my hey, I've been in an Agile coach role before, hat. Basically, the person with experience in the room, hat.
Yeah.
And I've recommended organizational changes to say, hey, if we change these things, I think we'll be more efficient.
You're positioned at a different level at that point than a Scrum Master typically would be, especially if they were the first Scrum Master this company is looking at. So there's no credibility, right? You build your own credibility. To your point about self-promotion, that is very much true. People are afraid to do that, and I don't know why.
They are.
So at that point in time, you've been more of an Agile coach then, right?
Oh, I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm going to pivot right now because there is, this is a real thing with the people, the people near the top of the field, the people that have been practicing the longest. They will tell you that title creep in the field is a real thing. It used to be everyone was Scrum Masters, and then some Scrum Masters retitled themselves as Agile coaches because they felt that the pool of people that were Scrum Masters were getting diluted with people with 2-day certs that didn't really know what they were doing, or people that didn't have development backgrounds that didn't really know how to train other people in XP and whatever, and then they called themselves Agile coaches. And now you have another level of the enterprise coaches, and I see product coaches now starting to become a hot thing. The growth product managers are starting to become a hot thing. They're breaking up the fellowship, and going different ways at the end of the movie because they're all trying to,
bring their own rings into the picture.
Exactly.
Here's another thing. We can go back to that $299. You can hire the Scrum Masters as the assistant bricklayer, and the Scrum coaches as the actual bricklayer. How about that?
You could, but that's why we needed to get through the what are you going to do for the organization. I'm trying to get you through the what are you going to do for my organization discussion. Not number one, because I'm quite enjoying playing the angry manager, but also actually the obstinate manager is what I'm playing right now. Obstinate, yeah, because I don't want to change my ways. I just want to layer this new fandangled agile stuff over my current way of working and say, see, we were doing it the right way the whole time. Now give me my yearly bonus.
Right. You just brought a new set of terminology on what we were already doing all along anyway. Right? We have project managers. What? No project managers in Agile? We'll just call them Agile project managers. Or Agile delivery leads. Mm-hmm. You're going to get that. You're absolutely going to get that. Going into an organization, you need to look sideways too, not just the team that you're coaching or a Scrum Master on, but look at how other teams are working. That's going to give you a sense of what the level of agility is at that company. And once you establish that, you can basically play your next card, right?
Okay. So step one is come up with some baselines. Come up with the current level
so
of agility.
have a baseline of where the company is and where the team is, and then see how you can grow that, how you can make that better, and then you can display that. So create some kind of like a dashboard.
Okay. I'm 100% on board for more transparency throughout all layers. I'm also 100% on board for anything that's a single source of truth that I can drive the whole business to. If I can have a single source of truth for where things are and I don't have to drive around to, okay, I'll go to this project manager, he tells me something, and I go to this other project manager, but I really don't go to them very often because they always spin it where it's not their fault and they always tell me everything's good. So I don't really go to them anymore. And then I go to this other project manager because they tell me the in the weeds kind of stuff, and then I know who else to talk to. Rather than play that game, I would rather go to one single source of truth and see the information for myself. So that's good for me. That's good for me as the obstinate executive in this example. But now I'm seeing the problem with presenting clear data to people, especially people in a management role, is once they see it presented in a transparent and clear way. Once you go through the time of getting every team to track their metrics and getting every team to fill out their stuff every day and to move work items and stuff like that. Once you get all that stuff down and you get it and you roll it into a dashboard for an executive, the first thing they're going to say is, okay, this is great. Okay, so what do we do with this? So what? Actually, no, I'm sorry. They'll say, so what are you going to do next with this? Of course, the wait time is this, and of course we need less risks, and of course we need to manage the dependencies. Of course, 100% on board. Great response. What's next? That's the first 30 days. What's the 30 to 90 day range? Now, how are you going to drive change for the organization? What does that look like? How are you going to start? Because in the first 30 days that I've had a Scrum Master working in my organization, I've taken it upon myself, the very busy manager, I'm very busy, to read the Scrum Guide. And I found this little snippet inside the Scrum Guide, and it says, and I quote, the Scrum Master is accountable for the team's effectiveness. That's what I read online in your holy Scrum document. Like, it says you are accountable for the team's effectiveness. So that means I need some kind of metric for the team's effectiveness that I can hold you to.
Oh boy.
Again, wow, I sound really combative. I'm really getting into this.
This is great.
I'm really getting into this role.
Let's get in this.
Like, what are you gonna? Yeah, how are you gonna show that?
So you talk about. So then we show you the delivery, right? Every sprint we deliver. We plan we're gonna deliver this much, and we show you how the trends has been going on. We've delivered this form. We've delivered that form. We delivered that form. It show you how much we're progressing through to the delivery of the entire product. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we say, okay, we're going to deliver some refund stuff. We've, in the past month or so, we've delivered you the scan bar that works. Now we're going to deliver to you the actual hardware that actually scans that scan bar. Now we're going to show you that delivery over time, showing you how we're progressing towards the final goal of the product. And we could create a dashboard if you want to that shows you how much we've done over the past few sprints or weeks or whatever you want to call it.
Would you start with the volume of delivery? I'm going down this road because I've also been in organizations where, like, take it from me, everyone listening, both of you listening, you can fix the delivery problems and still be way off the target and say, we're delivering twice the work in half the time. And then the business is still infuriated because they could care less about anything you're delivering. So if the metrics I'm judging you off of are all metrics about working in the business, Ed, you're gonna like this one. Got this one for you.
He just looked up at the monitor.
Yeah, Gino Wickman Traction book. It's the book where they introduce the entrepreneurial operating system, the EOS.
EOS.
Yeah, and in that book, he outlines the concept of everybody at the company has to work in the business. You're an employee, punching out work, you send it to customers, you're making money for the company. That's working in the business. Okay. But then he outlines the concept of occasionally you have to stop, take a big step back, look at the business from outside, and work on the business. This is what I'm driving to, is you spend a significant amount of time fixing the delivery function. Delivery function is very important. Without the delivery function, if you're going 6-8 months without delivering everything, truly everyone will be out of a job. I've seen that happen too.
Sure. Yep.
No delivery, and the management just gets frustrated and says, I'm just canning this whole team. You're out. You're all gone. I'll start over, and I'll take a chance. I've seen that. So
I've actually been on projects like that.
Yeah, don't let that happen. But the metrics associated with working on the business, the attempts and things that we've tried, things that we've failed, succeeded, whatever, and you showing progress, that goes way deeper than fixing the delivery function.
Yeah.
And I would argue that most Scrum Masters, number one, self-promotion. That's why I brought up self-promotion real early. That's why I brought up self-promotion. I think it's important. Managers, if you read the Amazon book, the Working Backwards Amazon book, about how they appoint single-threaded leaders to say, okay, you're the person in charge of all of this segment of the business. Amazon Alexa. Whenever anyone in the business wants to know about the future of Amazon Alexa, we all go to you. Okay. You have the budget, you have all the teams, everything, we all go to you. Completely your responsibility. Single-threaded leader in the organization. So if you're the single-threaded leader in the organization that we go to for the effectiveness of whatever teams, right, whatever team or teams you're assigned to, hopefully it's not a lot of teams because that gets ridiculous.
Sure.
What are your metrics now for working on the business? I feel the problem what we're having now, and the obstinate manager that I'm playing on TV right now, they don't talk about, nor do they have awareness about working on the business. Continually improving.
He's asked you the question, so I'll let you respond first. But I have something I want to jump in with.
Well, let me let you go, because it looks like
okay. So I mean, look,
spin in there.
One of the things about these types of metrics, they're typically bundled up under touchy-feely, right? Oh, the teams are happier now. How do you know how much happier? Are they 30% happier? You can't really peg down a percentage on it. So I think it goes back to what we were talking about. We said, how do you improve the team's effectiveness? Most of the time, management are focused on the team's efficiency, not effectiveness. So when you talk about metrics that speak of improvements or otherwise of effectiveness, they're kind of gone, like, oh, the teams are happier now. How much happier are they? How do you know they're happier, first of all, right? How do you measure happiness?
Are you tracking it?
Yeah, exactly. You have to do that. And there are ways to do this, first of all. So before our audience, our 1,048 people out there complain, oh, you can't measure this stuff home. I say, no, you absolutely can, right? There are ways to do this. Again, baselining is important. Day one, baseline everything. Are your team members hanging around longer as teams? Is their team churn? Is it slowed down? Is it sped up? Look at those things, because that's a direct result of the team members being content with working on a team. They hang around. Happy teams are productive teams, right?
Oh, yeah. Productivity.
the obstinate manager in me might have an evolution in my thinking. If you were to capture that, this is a fluffy metric, and there's no value in this metric for me. It's just, well, what do I care about people's feelings? What a statement! What a statement to get out of somebody, right? Like, what do I care about what good is empathy? What good is human empathy? Right? Yeah. The first thing you went to, which is not a knock on you. I expect 99.9% of Scrum Masters to tell me the exact same answer. I'm going to stabilize delivery first, because without delivery, we can't do anything else.
Yes.
I would. That's not a bad answer. If you show me that delivery cadence, what your team is working on down to the story level, I mean, real low level details, and then you overlap that happiness metric over every day at the end of stand up, hit the button. Are you smiley face, straight, whatever, straight?
I call it the
neutral
mad face.
Neutral face?
Neutral, mad.
Or
I don't know
mad
if
face?
I'm happy or
mad
sad.
face, upside down, or maybe there's four, maybe there's an actual mad face.
Yeah.
You just show me that overlapping, because I guarantee you that on certain days where it's like the majority of sad faces or whatever, it's going to be when we're in the mid sprint, where we're having problems or issues cropped up,
or just in a deployment.
Yeah, but I guarantee you those days where we knock out the sprint goal, or people swarm and knock out a story, or a story ends, those are going to be the happy days. I would be looking for trends like that, and then I'd be looking back to my delivery. I'd actually be looking back to delivery to try to use delivery to increase the happiness of my teams. And now like we just went to warp drive.
Yes, we did.
And we are in a whole different universe right now. We didn't even know that we could get here. We thought it was going to take thousands of years.
The happy, sad, mad that you talked about, the Japanese have been doing it for years. They call it the Nico Nico calendar. So basically, it's really simple, right? You have a sprint, 2-3 weeks, whatever it is. Just drop a calendar and ask your team, on their way out of the daily scrum, perhaps, just reflect on yesterday and put one of the emojis on there. Like, how did yesterday go? Did you feel happy, sad, mad, glad, whatever, right? Just put that on there. And at the end of the sprint, you can look back and, as Brian was saying, you can see trends. There were certain times when everybody's happy because things were really just falling into place. Other times when majority of the people were not happy because, and then you can dive into the because. Why? How do we prevent that from happening again? So again, management may or may not understand that. Leadership certainly will understand that, is my hope out there, right? Because happy teams are more productive. That there's been a whole bunch of research done on that.
Yeah, there's actually a tool that my last company that we had where we do. It's not really a retrospective. It was like a quarterly event where the teams get together, and I'm trying to remember what the tool was called. Where we go through and we have different items to talk about. Okay, I guess it goes in the line of a retro, but it's not really a retro. Where on a quarterly basis we're saying, okay, what do you think happened? How did this happen? Did we think we're doing good? Kind of just trying to measure that happiness of how people see the team is, and that actually fosters discussion within the team of, okay, you obviously have some people that don't want to talk, but everybody has to participate. It's a team participation that everybody has to move some item to where they think this is it going good, is it going bad, and then we could talk about that. And then when you're done, it creates some kind of a diagram that you can actually anonymously share with management and say, okay, this is what the team said on this different items. Okay, are we getting management buy-in? Are we delivering? Are we doing all this kind of different stuff, different items on that list? And you can share that with management and showing that, okay, the team is doing well, the goal is being met. There might be some items there where we don't even know why we're even working for this company in the first place.
I think those kinds of reflective experiences are useful, but because they are longer in terms of the time horizon, monthly, quarterly, that's where I think you could use in the day kind of things like this Nico Nico matrix, right? Because people forget 3 months out and you go, well, how do we feel? They focus on the last emotion they had, right? Which is maybe last week. You got 3 whole months out there, right? So yeah, you could try and use both that way, maybe. There is a way you could do this in Excel or anything like that, right? You could superimpose sprints just anonymize the dates. Just say day 1, day 2, day 3, right?
Yeah.
And just look out for 4 sprints, 5 sprints out, and superimpose those images and see. When I did this one time, what I found is those team members that were always, things aren't going so well. Over 4 sprints, you could see a slight change there. Like, oh, there's maybe a glimmer of hope here, you know? So I took it as a positive, but you wouldn't know that until you actually track it. So that's really, I guess, the bottom line on that is track it. Track it with people such as the upstart manager. You could say, look, if we're doing this well and it's only been 4 sprints, if I extend that out, you told me I have 6 months, right? I'll just go 3 months. Here's where we are, here's where we will be. Because when you extrapolate, it does a magnifying impact.
Right.
So show that. I guess I'm going back to our self-promotion thing. Use that to your advantage and go, maybe I don't get that exact, but I'm going to be close. So we're going to be so much better off.
In this example where I pitched, I was like, you're working for the CEO. That's highly irregular. Very. So if you join the company as an executive, like that is likely the advice you're going to get is you need to do more self-promotion. Self-promotion because you are a member of leadership. And as a member of leadership, you need to walk around. I was just texting with Ed this morning about this. As a member of leadership, you need to repeat the vision for your whole team to hear. You need to repeat why we are here doing what we're doing. You need to repeat the mission and maybe the vision.
Yeah, both actually.
You need to keep repeating them. And if I, the top executive, if I have not projected the vision and my leaders don't know what it is, so they don't know what to repeat,
you failed.
You need to let me know. Any leader that catches it needs to bubble it back up to say, hey, I don't hear anyone talking about the mission and the vision. Let's discuss that. Because I feel if we're going to go with some more advanced stuff, we didn't even get into helping product.
Right.
I feel the effective Scrum Master in this organization kind of knows what the product hierarchy should look like.
Yeah.
The CSM and the CSPO class together, they're like 75% overlap. It is a lot of overlap.
And that's for a reason.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's a lot of overlap. So
yeah.
If only one of us is quote trained, certified, whatever you want to call it,
ordained,
even in the old executive assistant model of the Scrum Master, let's say that you don't even want to climb, you don't even want to be running up this hill like Kate Bush. You heard on TikTok you can make 150 G's, and then you saw all these people that work at Google that they take the bus for 2 hours, they eat lunch for 5 hours, and they only work for like 30 minutes during the day. I feel like I'm making a statement. I'm not trying to make a statement. The point is like there are people who are like, actually, Brian, I hear your whole podcast, but I disagree. I don't need to do any of this. I'm getting paid a lot. I don't have to do any of this. It sounds like a lot of work.
For how long? For how long though? That's the thing because that's the one thing. That's the one thing I keep going back to. A lot of these people who get that, yes, there's always that chance that they will get that job. But I guarantee you, 3 months down the line, the company will smart up and know this guy, he doesn't know jack. He just got coached through the interview and he got the job. But now 3 months down the line, there's no productivity. There's no delivery. There's no efficiency. There's nothing. Fake it till you don't make it, till you get fired.
The other element that we haven't talked about in here, which I guess is kind of good that we haven't talked about it because it's going to burn all like a million hours to talk about it, is like with your Agile implementation. That's right. I'm calling it that.
I call it implantation. But
oh no, that sounds so. When the person who's sponsoring Agile at your company leaves, and that's when all the Scrum Masters get fired. When the single person who is sponsoring Agile at your company leaves, like that's when everything erodes and goes away. But I feel only in the case where, again, where I was talking about, you could be an executive, a high-powered executive assistant who is skilled in self-promotion, and you will make it through that round of firings, because people will say to themselves like, well, we can't possibly get rid of this person. They do all these things because my perception is they do all these things. Well. If you don't have metrics in place, that's not like ingrained in your organizational culture, data-driven decision-making, or you're not measuring the Scrum Master on any of the work they do on the business. You only track work done in the business. You track lines of code or some other ridiculous metric like that, or amount of features delivered per whatever week or month or whatever it is, and this person can't contribute to that. So then it comes back to the conversation we started with, is like, well, why wouldn't I just spend my money on a developer to row me into the rocks faster? That's what I need. I need to get to where I'm going faster.
Yeah. And and you'll get the result you're looking for, right?
Yep, you get what you pay for.
You crash into the rocks.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for, because the product wouldn't. There's no efficiency. There's no effectiveness. There's just rowing.
Just speed.
Yeah.
For the sake of speed.
We just speed in a circle.
You know, the other thing I had written down that I didn't bring up because we were just kind of I was trying to cook these topics, is who is accountable for continuous improvement.
I thought you said the Scrum Master
of the organization.
Oh, the organization.
In the example where I'm the obstinate manager saying I just want to hire another developer, just give me another developer, more developers. That's the answer. More developer. Whatever I can't sell things fast enough. More developers. That's my answer. Oh, I don't know how to I'm getting audited because I can't hire accountants. More developers.
You mean more sales guys?
my building's falling apart and the plumbing doesn't work. More developers.
Build it faster.
The concept I just brought up. I want to make sure that I am putting some effort into working on the business, and that my business, the package of my business, is improving. The processes, the policies, the stuff with the people, right? What we talked about.
Yeah.
Nico? Is it with Nico?
Nico.
I like it.
Nico.
Like, we are improving. How, that, you're not going to get that out of the working in the business metrics.
That's right.
You only get that when you take a step back. So if we don't have Scrum Masters, if we have Scrum Masters, it's straightforward. Okay, cool. The Scrum Masters, for their team or their segment of the organization or whatever, they're responsible for that. They can bring it to us. They can roll it up all the way up to the leadership team. They can do leadership team retrospectives, for example. There's a lot of ways we can utilize Scrum Masters in the organization. They don't have to just serve a team.
Correct.
But if I don't have them, if I don't have Scrum Masters in my organization, or if someone's playing the role, I haven't got to say that in a long time.
That's right. I like it.
Like, who's accountable? I mean, other than the cop-out answer of, well, leadership, obviously, your manager is responsible for making. They're going to tell you, continuous improvement is mandatory, and you must do it, and fun is mandatory, and you must say, you will now have fun.
Yeah, for the next 13 minutes. No, so Scrum Masters, right? So the latest Scrum Guide says the Scrum Master coaches the team, the Scrum Master coaches product, the Scrum Master coaches the organization. If they're not there, that's 3 levels of coaching you're missing. Think about that for a second, right? 3 levels of coaching that is just
gone,
prominently absent, right? It's not there. So you're going to feel that. It's completely vacated, right? So yeah, you're going to definitely feel that.
Why do we need it?
We should bring it back to that question. It's well, why do we need to fill that vacant seat? Why do we need to make sure we are continually improving as an organization?
That's one of the questions that anybody interviewing at an organization should ask the interviewer, not just Scrum Masters, product owners, anybody. What are the top 2 challenges that this organization has today? And how have you been addressing them? Because presumably, assuming the you is directed at somebody like an obstinate manager or whoever is interviewing you, right? Sure. Well, how have you tried to address those? And if they can't answer that, or if they sugarcoat it, or if they and ah their way through it, leave. Don't work for that company, because they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. They're not hiring you for that. They're hiring you for a Scrum Master role or a product owner role. If leadership has not done their job and they don't understand the challenges that they're faced with today, you're basically Sisyphus, trying to push that rock uphill, and you're on your own, and the hill is pretty steep, and the rock is.
Well, maybe that's why they need you.
You're not Hercules. You're Sisyphus.
Maybe that's why they need you.
It's too big for you to
show them what they don't know.
Shove uphill. Right?
I'm Kate Bush. I'm only running.
I like running up the hill.
Only running up that hill.
Now that song's now playing in my head. I want to go back to what we started with is why do we need a Scrum Master kind of thing, right?
The value.
With the value of a Scrum Master. After a few sprints of having been on the job, if you didn't benchmark to begin with the current state of play, as I like to call it, current state of play, and then you continuously updated that every situational, maybe every sprint, maybe every month.
I'm a busy manager, You're not getting more than a touch point every month. That's
I'm fine.
And I
fine
might
with
miss
that.
a month.
The metrics are, or miss every 2 months. I'm fine with that. That's on you. But I will plot on that chart,
Right.
those things that we talked about earlier in the podcast. So when we do meet, I can say, look at the deviation between the status quo you had and where we're going, where we are, sorry, not where, and I'm going to now extrapolate that, right? In a straight line extrapolation and say, if I continue to get the gains that I've gotten over the last few sprints, months, whatever, that's where we're going.
Right.
That's the little bit of that is self-promotion, but a lot of that is evidence-based, right? So projections are what they are. Forward-looking statements is what financial people call that. But that's all we've got. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. What we do know is what's happened from day one that I joined this company to now. And if I continue, there's no reason to doubt that I can continue along this projection line. That's what I hope to deliver. So 6 months later, we meet, the officer and manager, and we say, where's my offer? I've done all these things.
Right.
Because you've now got data behind it.
Right.
You've now got that line they had before.
Yep.
That line would not have moved had they not hired you. That is your baseline. And then you've got that line that's higher. No matter how higher, that doesn't matter. What matters is the projection, right? So at 6 months, you project out another 6 months. You were to hire me today, Brian, as the manager. Here's where I've got to today in 6 months, but here's where I can get to in the next 6 months. Can I sign? That's really the approach, I think.